Hi there, and welcome to Help Solve the Case. My name is Christine Burke, and this case comes with a warning. Before you go any further, the information is disturbing about the events that transpired. So I just wanted to warn you. I am shocked myself, okay? So be forewarned, but here we go, okay? Thanks for being here. Like, subscribe, and share. I came across this case. This is the Santillan case out of Tolleson, Arizona. It just came to my attention. You can probably see the disbelief on my face. And, well, here we go. I'm going to be following this case. It's close to home. Those of you that know, I live in Arizona. And I just have to do the entree into the case and let you understand for yourselves, okay? So thanks for being here. I appreciate you subscribing, and sharing to help promote the channel. Hopefully, I'm getting you what you want, and I'm entertaining you, educating you, and we are all together improving the criminal justice system through what we learn and experience. Okay, let's get to it. All right, so yesterday I came across this case, and thanks to 12 News, I cannot find the arrest document at this time, although it may be circulating. I can try to get it. I'm going to follow this case. It's deeply disturbing. And again, me, the hardened cop, I don't know. Anyway, let's go. So Yesenia, it was an 18-year-old, beautiful girl here, and she was found with more than 20 stab wounds and without her face. I told you guys. I was like, what? You got to be kidding me. I have to be reading that wrong. No. So this was a case back in February, and I was unaware of it. So we're just going to take a look at this. It says court documents reveal disturbing details in the murder of an 18-year-old following the arrest of the man alleged to have stabbed her to death. Court paperwork states Tolleson police officers were called to an apartment complex in Tolleson, that's on the west side of the Phoenix metro area, on January 28th for a welfare check. Property management reported a, quote, foul smell and flies gathering around the door, end quote. When officers entered the apartment, they found maggots covering the floor and a person lying on their back dead. The body was covered in clothing, blankets, and towels, and the face was also covered. The Maricopa County Office of the Medical Examiners determined the dead person was a woman, and she had been stabbed more than 20 times. All of the stab wounds were below her head and above her knees, court documents state. The woman was also missing her face. And while police initially assumed that was because of the number of maggots present in the apartment, the autopsy revealed that the victim's face was removed using a, quote, edged instrument, end quote. I told you. If the headline was not bad enough when I got here, yeah, whoever did this. Police found handgun ammunition, a large knife, and a pink purse containing personal property that belonged to Yesenia Norman. And I cannot imagine what her family is feeling. And I don't want to disrespect her or her family in anything with this and with talking about this. But someone has been arrested, right, and is allegedly responsible for this. And I want to know what's behind this, and I'll get more into it. So I've seen some things, but I have not seen that. And I just can't imagine. We can think about the movies, right? Okay. When police conducted a records check of Norman's name, they found that she was reported missing out of Phoenix. Police also found multiple social media posts regarding Norman's disappearance. One of the posts included Ring doorbell footage of Norman appearing to leave the residence before possibly going on a date with a, quote, Cuban/Mexican guy, end quote, that she met on an app. Police then confirmed the identity of the woman found dead in the apartment to be Norman. The apartment lease where Norman was found is for a husband and wife who recently split up, documents said. The wife, Alexa Velazquez Nazario, went to the scene and told detectives she left the relationship because of her husband's, quote, controlling behavior, end quote. The last time Nazario said she saw her husband, who was later identified in court documents as Randall Azael Barillio Santillan, was in mid-December 2025 when she gave him his mail. So this would have been after. A car registered to both Nazario and Santillan was also not parked in its usual space, and neighbors reported they had not seen either the husband or the wife in 1 to 2 weeks. One neighbor told police they heard what sounded like a physical altercation taking place, followed by, quote, a loud thud, end quote, then silence on January 16th. So poor Yesenia was probably there for that time period. Court documents state that law enforcement license plate readers captured the Santillan's car in New Mexico on January 16th, okay? Texas on January 18th, in Illinois on January 19th and 20th, and the final time the license plate was captured was on January 28th in Mississippi. So that's a little circuitous, is that how you say it? Circuitous route. Cell phone data that the police obtained showed Santillan's cell phone in the area near Norman's apartment, near a Raising Cane's restaurant, where the defendant and a woman who police believe was Norman were seen on video surveillance in Phoenix and then in the states where the license plate readers captured the Santillan's vehicle. The cell phone data from Norman's device confirmed that Santillan first texted with Norman on January 13th, and the last time Norman's device connected to the network was on January 15th. So that's a pretty quick time frame there. An arrest warrant was obtained, and Santillan was apprehended in Mississippi on February 6th. He will be extradited to Arizona to face a first-degree murder charge. Okay. That's a heavy case. Santillan, who is only accused, right? We don't know anything at all, really. Has been extradited back, is in Maricopa County. We've got, the court case information here. So I was going to follow up on that. It is murder, first degree, premeditated, kidnap, death, injury. It says sexual, so we're not sure. And looks like they initially charged him and then they came in with the indictment. Okay. So right now there's a continuance. There's a lot of orders here to seal. Obviously, probably because of the nature of the case. And they've been going back and forth. Stuff about the medical examiner's records. Remand to the grand jury. So they're potentially challenging what the grand jury. So the grand jury comes down with the indictment. And they probably were not happy with that or are challenging that. And they want to remand it to the grand jury. So let's see what happened with that, with the grand jury. There's a note here. We'll have to see. I can see on the notes. State's response, motion to extend page limit. So they're filing under seal. Okay, they got the grand jury on 4/3. I don't know what's going back and forth. I guess they don't have the office of the medical examiner records or something. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to read these with these minute entries here. So I guess the defense doesn't have them, so they want them, which, how do you defend yourself in a homicide case without the death records, right? But Maricopa can be very slow in producing records. Okay, there's something here, motion for any means necessary transport order for the arraignment. That could mean that somebody doesn't want to show up, that the defendant doesn't want to show up. The state wanted to vacate the preliminary hearing. There's a warrant served. And the next court date is, because it looks like they postponed it, today is the 4th, 8/10 at 8:30. So I'm going to follow this and see what we can see. All right, so I cannot find any minute entries, court documents. I'll see if I can find the arrest report again. It's just, we don't want to get into the gory details of what happened to Yesenia. I did want to talk to you. Let me talk to you guys about this because I pulled it up. Hang on one sec. All right, I looked at stuff typically we have different types of crime, right? We have organized crime and we have disorganized crime, talking about crime scenes and things. And the face mutilation, to me, or the removal of the face or whatever, God forbid, happened there. Typically the face, from my training, right? This is not a formal opinion, is personal. And 20 stab wounds could be rage. It could have been, we have an alleged, let me just say, we have an alleged defendant. And if it was the defendant that was involved in this, we hear that there was a separation and a loss of his wife in December, right before this happened. So was the person angry? If it was the defendant, I'm not saying anything. Was the person angry? Were they seeking revenge against, which we have heard before, women in general, right? Angry person. We just don't know. And so that is something that is very interesting to me. And that's why I find this case very interesting. I want to know more about not only what happened, because we can prevent things from happening, hopefully, but we want to be able to recognize bad things. And I want to know why. And I want to see what the defense is going to put on. I want to see what evidence the state has. I want to see how the situation affects the case. And I want to see what the defense is going to put on. That's why we're looking at it, okay? They say here, this is just playing a little bit, that the Santillan vehicle was located near Gulfport, Mississippi. And we know that from reading the 12 News report, it was a very short time between when the two met. They potentially have some surveillance tape from a local restaurant or whatever. We're not sure exactly what was going on. So please say a prayer for Yesenia, her soul, and her family, and for a good resolution for this case, no matter who did it, right? Because everybody's innocent until proven guilty. And I'll try to follow this the best I can and get as much information as I can. And let me know what questions you might have. I know we know very little, but let me know what questions you might have, what you might want to see in this particular case, in the areas that you want to know, from the prosecution, from the defense, from just, I don't know, whatever. But that's what we're here for. So I'm going to end here on this particular case. I'm going to keep working on our other cases. Thanks for being here. Again, I really appreciate your liking, subscribing, and sharing, because my goal is to grow this channel so that I'm able to do more for more folks. And if there's a case, you have a case that you would like me to look into, please drop it in the comments send me an email through my website, and I'll see you next time.